So we are back here on the Choose954 podcast with Broward native QuickThePoet.
What's going on?
If you didn't know about Choose954, we started a social movement to cultivate culture and community here in Broward County, where we're from, in an effort to keep people together over our shared passions, keep people to know with all the great things that are going on within the arts, culture, music, film, poetry scene, in an effort to make Broward County a better place to live, not just a better place to vacation. We all know it's a great place to vacation.
Absolutely.
So for them that don't know about QuickThePoet, tell them who is QuickThePoet.
QuickThePoet is Jerris Alexander Evans, born and raised here in Broward County. I came up in the rural Palm, Westwood Park, Lockdale, Deep Side, Shallow Side, Lauderhill, Campbell Square, Lockdale Lakes areas. Basically the city. And some people it's the hood, but all of it is the city to us. I went to all of the Novas, Nova Elementary School, middle school, and high school, and I ended up lettering in football, going to Missouri Western State College and University. Lucked up, lived the dream, broke a whole lot of records there, if not all as a wide receiver, thanks to Coach Partridge and his staff. And I ended up getting a shot in the NFL with the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets, and after being released in 2002, I ended up back here in South Florida. And while being here in South Florida during 2002 and working my way up in the community as just, working a regular 9 to 5 like anybody else, I ended up on the poetry and spoken word scene some 3 or 4 years after that. Or actually even more. I think I ended up on the poetry and spoken word scene, to be more accurate, 2007-ish. And thanks to my mentor, Asia Sampson, HBO Deaf Poet Asia Sampson, I received a shot. And 4 years from 2007 going, it's kind of like the 2010-ish, 11-ish time, I grew as a poet and spoken word artist and got a chance to start a show called Flourishing Sundays. And that started January 8, 2012. And it ended up becoming one of the most popular and historic poetry and spoken word shows down in South Florida. And I can't thank everybody enough for their support, because that ended up moving 10 different venues, ended up at the Hard Rock, at the Piano Bar, and lucked up and got an opportunity with the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. Thank Pablo, thank Kerry, John, the whole staff over on that end, because as we speak, one of the biggest poetry and spoken word shows in the southeast region of the U.S., and it's beautiful. It's a dream come true. I can't even make it up. I cannot make it up.
How about that?
Man.
So how did you get into poetry in the first place?
In third grade, God rest her soul, Miss Baltimore, I was really into English and learning and just the detailing of not just poetry and spoken word interactivity. That's what pulled me into it. And thanks to her, that transition into my growth and my education as a whole at Nova. And Miss Hagens in 5th grade, it carried on from Miss Hagens to going through middle school. And when I got into high school, I ended up really taking in from one of my best teachers of, and that was Miss Calloway, Mrs. Calloway, respectfully stated. And that was 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. And I wrote my first public poem, and the guys really, they really digged it, and the girls, they loved it because it was real sincere. It was about my grandmother. But I put it on the back burner, though. I want to be honest. I did, because of football and sports. And ironically, after being released in 2002, is what I ended up coming back to. So you're talking about arguably, let's say, a 15 to 20 year journey of getting to where I am when it comes to poetry and spoken word.
Amen. So you've been at it for a good amount of time now.
Yeah, almost 2 decades. Well, 2 decades, basically. 2 decades plus.
So I always like to ask, what is the why behind why you, either pursue your craft and your passion as a poet, why you continue to grow and pursue the scene and produce events? What's the why behind all this?
Because at one period of time, I was a kid that really needed somewhere to put all of my energy when nobody else would listen. A lot of people thought a lot was wrong with me at that time.
Sure.
I was really energetic, no different than really what I am now. And a running joke is, well, you got ADD or ADHD, and I'll be honest, maybe I do. I don't know. I've just never been diagnosed with it, but my educational history and my communicative history speaks for itself, and that's what ended up pouring into the poetry and spoken word. And when I saw the effect it did for other people, what it really made me kind of swallow was the fact that, sometimes your story is going to save a lot more people than just yourself.
Amen.
Sometimes it may not even save you per se, but respectfully stated, your John F. Kennedys, your Tupac Shakur's, your Biggies, like the historical figures on opposite sides of the spectrum, but it's their stories alone, though their lives were taken early, and I hate to see in a situation like that, they've saved a lot of other people, and I'm big on that. So that's really my why for doing so, and with doing the bigger events or any event that I have, because I'm connected with a whole lot of them. It's really about connecting as many people as possible. I'm a true believer in global peace, and whether anybody else believe it or not, I'm really big on the fact that if everybody truthfully put that energy into each other, like in a positive form, not worry so much about with yourself, everybody will be taken care of. It won't be all this homelessness, it won't be all of this nonsense going on, people with killing and hurting each other and having to rob and steal. All of that stuff is seriously unnecessary. And it's a running quote that I have. There's nothing wrong with being a good guy or a good girl for people in the world. And that's the truth.
And I always like to think communication is key. Communication can solve all things. When we don't communicate, that's when falling outs and things happen. But communicating either in conversation or in your form as a creative outlet and expression is crucial. Your words resonated with me when I discovered you at So Far Sounds as a hopeless romantic, even though you're married happily. Yeah. The passion and that you had in your words and giving praise to your wife and to your woman and the love that you showed, and it was so moving, and it really spoke to me in a way that I really hadn't been spoke to in a long time in those few minutes that you shared. So I'm forever grateful for Jennifer at So Far Sounds for bringing you into my life. Thank you, Jen, and So Far.
Amazing.
So that was beautiful to discover you there. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the poetry scene, spoken word scene, and landscape in Broward County right now?
Sure, I can probably name you names for days, but I'll at least give you a few examples.
Sure.
Will the Real One, who was killed years ago, opened the doors for so many people, and I'm truly thankful for him. God rest his soul. Pillars that you need to look for opportunities from and/or amazing shows. You have Ingrid B. of Miami. You have Eccentric of Pompano.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely. You have G.S. Cole and Sirius of Miami. You have Analogy of Miami. You have, Lord, I can go on for days on that. But to kind of summarize it for you, if you get an opportunity, you can actually end up going to, let's say, for instance, my website, www.flowforme, and that's FLO, the number 4, ME.com. And I make sure that I keep a summary and or a box for folks to, if you're reaching out for any, it doesn't have to be just my events. I'm really big on that. Supporting everyone.
The scene.
Yep, absolutely. And if you want to know what's going on any night in particular, feel free to let me know, or just hit me here now, or any of the social networks. You can simply look up QuickThePoet, and that's QuickThePoet, and I'll put you on to anybody that has anything going on. I've loved for everybody on the poetry and spoken word scene, whether we see eye to eye or not. I'm a realist. I don't feel that everybody really loved me. I mean, I had learned that as a kid. That came with the territory that, it some people just don't agree with my format, or they may love it to life, but I'm really truthful to my balance. I'm about trying to support everybody. That's whether you love me or hate me. So you got to get used to loving me.
And I do want to now make a point, now that we're better connected, to include your events and events that you feel worthy and should be highlighted and showcased on the Choose954 platform.
Absolutely.
We'll put them in the newsletter. We'll put them on the event calendar, because it is another vital element of arts and culture as we work to elevate the arts and culture landscape here in Broward County in the 954. And there are, I know, and we spoke about it briefly, there's people that are moving here from other places that are expecting to find these types of events that they're used to in the places they came from, New York, LA, Chicago, wherever it may be. And I'm glad that, you know, folks like yourself are passionately and genuinely working diligently to support the craft, support the scene, support the movement, in an efforts that, I mean, I did poetry when I was a kid. I didn't know that there was life behind writing notes and poems to girls that I was chasing. And anyways, but we will bring you some more upcoming events on Choose954. But before we do that, I would be remiss to not ask you if you could drop a little something for us here.
Okay. I don't know if I want to do an inspiration or a love. Well, let's just get right to it. Let's see what pour out, man.
All right.
Let's do a, you know what? I guess I do have to do inspiration. It'll make sense.
There you go.
So maybe they can connect the dots to the story. And just like that, I was right back where that all started. On the corner of 35th Avenue and 19th Street in Westwood Park, living back at my late grandmother Hattie's house. Sitting in the very same tough place that taught me how to persevere through anything, showing me how putting in years of hard work, it could truly pay off. But equally, the same place that taught me how in the blink of an eye, you could lose it all, facing 24 of the darkest hours I've arguably had to face alive just after losing it all. I remember it like it was just yesterday. It was in the late summer of 2002 when I was less than 24 hours removed from a much different lifestyle than the one I was accustomed to growing up in the Fort Lauderdale city limits of Broward County, where the day-to-day wake-up calls and reminders for me are having to listen to the police sirens race by on their way to save somebody, or on their way to investigate another lifeless body and surprisingly discarded in my beautiful coastline city by somebody will finally replace. By the sweet sounds of the birds chirping outside of my windowsill as my new alarm clock ringing off in the early mornings, warning me that it was time to rise and shine and get it together because see, Coach Herm Edwards even tolerated his players being late for practice. You see, even the slightest bit of tardy seconds, it can get you heavy fines snatched up out of your check in addition to the mandatory payments owed in your U.S. taxes. Even though I could afford the hundreds of Washingtons lost out of my check, Lord knows I don't want any of that. Damn, I remember those good old days short-lived when I used to be a Chicago Bear in a New York Jet. Well, the more problems due to the more money lifestyle the Notorious Big, he so artistically spoke about in that classic Life After Death album that were much more preferred than the latter. Stressing like an honorable soldier who mistakenly dishonorably discharged after serving his and our country for so many years in battle. You see, I sacrificed over 15 years of my life just so my family could have a better life by successfully making it out of my neighborhood confines alive and accepting that full scholarship ride to become a mighty griffin of the Missouri Western State College and University. A 5-year investment and commitment that ultimately catapulted me into a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that less than 1% of all humanity would ever have an opportunity of experiencing in a lifetime. To be so easily shipped back to my hometown like a FedEx package that was sent to the wrong address in the first place. All because of a mistake that started from a misunderstanding between Chad Pennington and I had to be a mistake. And me sitting back in my late grandmother Hattie's living room like a real Tom Hanks castaway, on the verge of being broken to the point where hopes don't have a chance of being rescued from misery's company, praying on someone or somebody to please save me. Just like the NBA did for Derrick Rose when they described that powerful Powerade commercial with that powerful Tupac narration playing in the background that described everybody in this room right here or to across the globe, and they said that we are all just a kid from somewhere who in one way or another discovered that Winston Churchill, he was absolutely right when he said that success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's courage that counts to keep going. Like when Michael Jordan, he was cut from his team when he was 16, but he kept going. Or when Oprah Winfrey, she was told by so many people she would never make it in TV, but she kept going. This one incredible story about this Fort Lauderdale kid I know who's incredible run with a pigskin and came to an abrupt, painful end. It's amazing what happened then when he chose to pick that pen and pad back up and he put that pain down in that poetry. Regardless how adversity corners your life story, you never give up on the rest of your life. Keep going, and you watch what happens when you keep going. Keep going. Woo! I love it. I love it.
Man. Oh man. That is some powerful stuff right there.
I appreciate it, man.
I
Some
appreciate
life story
you.
like in a nutshell. 3 minutes and 10 to 20 seconds.
Ah, there we go.
Can come with it, man.
Just another boy from Broward County.
That's right, man. Just what they say. Hashtag just a kid from Fort Lauderdale.
There you go.
Look that up, man.
So where could folks find you next? What's next on the circuit? What do you got on the docket?
Man, Lord. At least that I can remember based on to date. The very next thing I have is the Melton Mustafa Jazz and Poetry Show that'll be taking place in Miami. It's on my webpage, www.flowforme.com. Make sure FLO, the number 4, ME. After that, I will be at the Jazz Lounge, NYSW, downtown Fort Lauderdale. After that, the day after that, I'll be at my 6th annual show with Nova Southeastern University for Let's Speak Truth. Before all of that, I'll be in the Bahamas for a private show that nobody can come to. It's, a dope mansion setup, so that's pretty amazing. But anything else I got going on in the future, I will say this, the Mega Flows, I always try to make sure that is always in the loop. The next Mega Flow is this summer, Flowpocalypse, July 20th, 2019, world famous Broward Center for the Performing Arts at the Armaturo Theater. It's going to be historic. Tickets on Ticketmaster will be available in the spring, late April, early May. Make sure you get yours early. It has potential to sell out. Now they got us in the big house, on the way to the biggest house. So appreciate y'all, man.
And I know we're 2 weeks removed from the big one, but I guess we're 50 weeks away. Why don't you tell them? I guess you'll be going on your 10th annual iteration.
Yeah, man. Actually, this will be my 9th Mega Flow. The 10th one.
Next
absolutely.
2020.
Yep. It is literally, if I'm not mistaken, the last Saturday in January
during
of
Fort Lauderdale Art
2020.
Design Week.
Yeah, and that's where we connect that,
there
man.
You go,
it's going to be so on, man. I hope y'all are ready. I got something special for all of them. But bottom line, days in, y'all make sure that y'all support them. Listen, support everything Fort Lauderdale. Support all of the arts that are on the scene, because culminating and put together, man, that's what really make the world go around when we stick with each other.
But for those that aren't familiar with, like I was not with the event, you've been doing this for 10 years. It'll be the 10th year,
sure.
2020. Why don't you tell them a little bit about the big one?
Man, so I don't give anything away. It literally makes me emotional on the spot. I've worked my life for this opportunity for everybody. This was never just about me, and I want to make that clear. And I'm always big on expressing that, because any project that you really, really love, you may be the root and the seed that started it, but at days end, you got to remember, any oak tree that grew to whatever it was, it took the elements to avoid knocking it over and also supporting it so it can get to the point of where it is. And that means everybody. That means everything in the surrounding area. And Fort Lauderdale, I appreciate your support. I will support you. I will be supporting them and their events. And as long as we all continue to do that, I can assure you this. We all will evolve. The art scene will also evolve. And life will be so much better.
Correct. And it's a beautiful thing. And then the next upcoming QuickThePoet and the next upcoming culture curator and art fair producer will have a platform where they can pursue their craft and pursue their passion and do the work that they want to do without having to go to Miami, without having to go to Palm Beach. You could do it right here in Broward County.
Without a doubt.
Without
a doubt, man. I got workshops and all for all that.
What?
Man.
So with that, thank you for mentioning that. What else? So you mentioned a private event in the Bahamas.
Man,
Lord. What other things could they reach out to you for?
I literally host. I really want to say everything, but I'm sure it's gonna be something I'll probably end up turning down. There's been some events I have from before, but primarily for me, I'm booked to host at colleges, corporate events, weddings, receptions, birthday parties,
church gatherings,
restaurants, lounges, venues, of course, major venues like the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. Man, to be at the top 10 venue in the world, man, I'm humbled by that. Anything you name, you can reach out to me for. And if not, of course, obviously you can't find it on my website. The email you can reach me at is Floetry, ENTLLC@gmail.com. That is spelled FLOETRYENTLLC@gmail.com.
Amazing.
Welcome to the rest of my life.
Amazing.
What's up?
And I think I'll be the first to announce here that we just confirmed June 2019 AAF Creative Zen. I'm very excited. If you do a whole poem, if you do a part poem, if you just share your story, I know it's going to be moving. I know it's going to be inspiring.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be
absolutely, man.
If you weren't familiar with Creative Zen, we host a monthly breakfast lecture series. It's a mini TED Talk every second Friday morning of the month for free. Doors open at 8:30. Talks start at 9. You're out of there by 10. It's a great way to start your morning with inspiration and engagement, connecting with our local creative community, hearing a local creative entrepreneur, thought leader, whoever, share their story. Last month we had Amanda Perna, a former classmate of mine from Forest Glen Middle School, Broward native from Project Wormway fame. She shared her story at Regina's Farm. It was amazing. We'll be posting that soon. Next month we have Inez Martins at the Design Center of the Americas at Dakota. She's a world-renowned designer sharing her story. But you can find this young gentleman here June 2019 for Creative Zen. Really looking forward to that one. A few other things we like to keep on the radar platform where we discovered each other. So Far Sounds.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. One of my favorite events ever. My favorite music event of the month. It's a true experience unlike anything other. Songs from a room. You either have to request access or get invited. They don't publish the address. It's to reward true music fans with a listening experience with musicians that are pouring their heart and soul into their craft and are engaging and connecting, and not just musicians, poets as well, and other creatives. The next one is February 23rd. There are still a few tickets left. If you go to So Far Sounds, SOFARSOUNDS.com, you sign up for the newsletter. It's not spammy, I promise. They'll keep you in the know when the next event is, so you can request access to get a chance to get a ticket, because not everybody is allowed in. That's February 23rd is the next one. We have a very special Raw Storytelling, another event I think you might find interesting. So our dear friend Eden Delasco, Witchcraft Branding, started Raw Storytelling. It's True Stories Untold. It's our version of the Moth, essentially, in Fort Lauderdale. That generally happens the second Thursday of the month, the night before So Far Sounds, but Enid this month decided to do a special Valentine's Day show. So that's going to take place Thursday, February 14th, coming up here this week. You can find out more at rawstorytelling.com, Raw Storytelling on social medias. If you didn't know, we host, this might be one you find interesting, a local artist discovery series, live art pop-up, every Wednesday at YOLO for the last 2 years. We are celebrating our 104th consecutive week, bringing a different local artist to live paint at YOLO, downtown Fort Lauderdale, the heart of Los Olas. We give the artist the canvas, easel, table, paint. We don't charge them. We don't take a cut of the work. We market it. We make a flyer. We promote it on social. I'm there doing the stories.
It's dope.
Give them a food tab. I don't take anything. It's to connect local artists with the downtown crowd that might not discover local artists otherwise.
Amazing,
so we're going to be celebrating our 104th our second anniversary. Not this Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I believe the 20th, with one of my oldest friends and Broward natives, Omar Sater. So that takes place every Wednesday at YOLO from 7 to 10. It's ladies' night. Ladies drink free. There's always live music. There's always live art. And it's a really just great experience. Just unwind, connect with the creative, and that's live painting that night. Watch what they create. Be part of the creative process. Encourage you to check that out if you haven't already. And did the Centrix event already happen? I got
her latest one. No, not yet. It's coming though. Her big one happened, I think, last year.
Okay.
Last year, but it's coming. She hit me up on it. I'll make sure I
in
plug
Pompano, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She does a big poetry event in Pompano.
Definitely happened. That happened. That was dope.
Yeah, okay.
I ain't gonna even get
That
was dope.
Yeah.
Exit 36.
That's
annually.
Right. Poetry
it's
festival.
Dope. Damn right.
That's right.
It was dope.
So there is a poetry scene growing here. If you want to find out more, you can reach out. What's the website?
www.flowforme.com. That is FLO4me.com.
And what's the social medias?
Look up QuickThePoet on anything. QuickThePoet. Spell it how it's supposed to be spelled, and you'll find the right
It's
life.
a beautiful thing. I really encourage you, if you haven't been to Creative Zen yet, save the date for June 2019. It's going to be one you're not going to want to miss. If you have any questions, find me on social media as Evan Snow, at Evan Snow 13. I'm an open book. At Choose954, Art Fort Lauderdale Art Design Week, Thousand Mermaids Project, Creative Zen, a few other things we're a part of, Action Club. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You'll never know what happens when you connect.
For sure.
Beautiful thing.
Mel's up.
How about that? Put the mel's up.